You're listening to BFM 89.9, the business station.
Good afternoon. It's The Bigger Picture, and I'm Mira Sivasodi. An abandoned, abused, bashed, choked, chained, neglected, stoned and tortured, left to die, all by human beings. This is how many of the animals at the Noah's Ark Natural Animal Sanctuary, better known as NANAS, were described as being found before they were rescued. Now, Raymond, who runs NANAS, left the corporate world to devote his life to helping animals in need. He joins us today to talk about his continuing struggle to help the less fortunate furry members of our community and the animal sanctuary he built from scratch for them. Welcome to the show, Raymond.
Hi, very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Raymond, NANAS is an animal sanctuary that originated in Singapore as Noah's Ark Lodge Private Animal Center. People have left the corporate world for various reasons, but what motivated you to set up this animal shelter?
Well, with great empathy and a desire to make a difference for our street animals, I left my job with Singapore Airlines after 18 years to become a full-time advocate for the animals. The animal shelter was started in the early 1995 till today, 2010. A lot of things are the same, but I have a different perspective as to what's important in life. I have about the choice I have made, and I made this choice. I wanted to make sure that my priorities are really the ones I would want to have rather than ones someone else thinks that I should have. The Ark was moved to Johor Bahru in the year 2000 after my land lease expired in Singapore. I didn't believe that the move happened for nothing, but it was for me to figure it out. My life has changed irrevocably and upwards for joy because of what I went through.
What's so special? What's so special about the shelter?
Well, the shelter has it's called a free-ranging or free-roaming shelters. It's different from the rest of the shelters that you find in Singapore, Malaysia, or even all over the world. I traveled the world during my airline days, and I've seen a lot of all these shelters. And I tell myself that the only shelter, or the only sanctuary that I would like to have is the animals to be able to live and die with as much space and freedom as possible, right? And that's the sanctuary. They have 10-acre. They have a piece of land that is 10 acres to roam. Only some of them, the difficult ones or the older ones, they have confinement areas for the geriatrics. And then, of course, you have the kindergartens for the younger ones, right? So that's, of course, they don't mix until they are big enough. If they don't get adopted, we don't kill them. There's no reason why we should kill them because they are born at the right time, the wrong time, born with the wrong color, or probably they come in as geriatric animals. If they are given just a square meal and a little bit of love, that's what they want to live the rest of their life.
A preschool for animals. I'm impressed. Now, how different is NANAS from SPCA or PAWS, the ones that we normally hear of?
Okay, NANAS is a sanctuary. It's not a shelter. And for us, we don't accept animals from the town councils on a daily basis. We only accept animals that are more deserving, those that had accidents, road accidents, or badly abused, or from people who have left us, especially the older people. And I'm also referred cases from the Kebajikan, about people who are elderly living alone, and they have left us, or they were sent to hospital, and they have dogs at home, and nobody to take care of them. We deserve this space in the sanctuary for the animals.
Do you take in all sorts of animals, or just a certain type?
Well, we do take in all sorts of animals, including human strays. We do have a few of them.
Which preschool or center are they put in?
Well, the Amazing Grace. Right. Yes, we do get calls from the public, but most cases I refer them to the SPCA because they are more well versed with such rescue. And unless the SPCA come and tell me that okay, we have an animal that is sick and in nursing care, and we have ICU units at the sanctuary, I will take care of them. And then it is the responsibility of the SPCA to do the rehoming, because I'm not strong with rehoming. I'm more into sterilizations, helping the poor people to sterilize their pets because they cannot afford the regular veterinary fee, which is much too high for them.
Okay. How many animals do you have at the moment?
Well, we have about 800 over dogs, 5 horses. Well, we have rabbits, we have guinea pigs, we have 2 monkeys, as I said, and some stray human beings.
And what were they all? Were they abandoned, or were they?
Not all of them are being abandoned by people. Quite a good number of them are left behind by the owners who have left us.
Passed on.
Passed on.
Okay. How do you fund your daily expenses and upkeep of the place?
Well, most of the funds are coming from Singapore right now because I'm not too active with the fundraising campaigns in Malaysia because of my workload. Well, we do get a little bit of money coming from projects. Like we have a project in Malacca, for the street cats. And at present we have animal birth control, the animal birth control program up there with some, we are working very closely with the vets to help us to sterilize the animals, and we do get funds from a few people, well-wishers here and there.
Okay. Now, do you rescue strays?
We don't go out, we don't go out there onto the streets to look for them, but we do get people calling us up, if they need our service. I will normally contact the SPCA or some of the groups that are more comfortable with the transportations of all these injured animals or rescued animals, and they can be brought to the shelter.
Okay. Now, the local authorities have their way of dealing with strays, an area I don't really want to go into, but do you work closely with the local authorities?
Yes, you have to work very closely with them because they are the key personnel, and they should be our ally instead of taking them as our enemies. Well, we have to stop blaming them for a lot of things. We need to think out the box. We need to bring our thoughts together and work with them in order to see to it that our streets will have lesser stray animals.
Okay, so I assume you have a no-kill policy.
Yes. Why I decided to place Noah's Ark under no-kill policy thing is that we can do it because we are very strong with our sterilization campaign. So anybody that comes in with a dog, for example, let's say with a bunch of puppies, all right, I will ask them, where do you get the puppies from? If it's from your home, then in this case, can you please bring the mother along the next time? The puppies are still young. Let her take care of the pups, and then we will sterilize them for you. If you can't afford the fee, we can do it for free. And then we will sterilize the puppies, and be it your responsibility to rehome these animals instead of dumping, your irresponsibility on us and get away with doing your daily chores. And then in this case, our sanctuary will become a dumping ground, and at the end of it, I need to do some killings because I can't afford to maintain that many animals.
When do you decide that you should put an animal down?
So far, we have not done that yet. And I wouldn't allow this to happen. So if they bring in an old dog, an elderly dog, for example, I will ask them, what is your reason for sending this dog into us, right? It's because of some valid reasons, which I think, of course, whatever they say is valid. If not, then in this case, you have to go to the vet's room for counseling, right? And after that, you can hold your dog. I give you a few minutes to spend with your animal, and then the vet will euthanize the dog for you. This will give them a better impression.
Okay. I suppose we all know that neutering our pets is the best way to prevent this whole issue of strays, which doesn't seem to be the case with many Malaysians. Now, how do you plan to extend this sterilization campaign all over? Okay,
after all these years, I started the sterilization campaign in year 2007. All right. We have no problems with the Malays. We go to the kampong. I'm fortunate to have my deputy vice president, who is a Muslim, and she's with the Kebajikan. She's with the welfare department, and she refers a lot of cases to us, especially in Muar, Right. So, we have cases like an old lady, Fatima. She has got 20 over cats, and she is staying with her brother, who is under the terms called OKU, and she couldn't even afford to bring these cats to the vets for some minor problems. So we have sterilized 20 over cats for her, right? And all in all, we have participants of about 60 over households, and we have sterilized about 6,000 cats for the Malay community, including places like Lakimba stations, the Warongs, and then probably we get schools coming in. So the total is about 6,000 cats we have sterilized for them, and there's no cost involved at all. They just have to put in an effort to bring in the animals, and we do it. And because of this, it makes it easier.
You mentioned the sterilization cost is it is a little pricey. How much is it?
Well, for NANAS, if it's for NANAS, we are charging them $25 for a male cat and $35 for a female cat. They can even pay by installment.
When you think about it, right, feeding 9 cats, what is 25 ringgit or one-off per cat? You know what I mean?
Well, if you stop your 25 cats from multiplying, so $25 is worth the while, or $35 is worth the while.
It is.
And then, you see, these people will have, they will find that they will have a little bit of time to walk the streets to feed the other stray cats.
Okay. Right? All right. If you have just joined us, I'm speaking to Raymond Wee of Noah's Ark Natural Animal Sanctuary, and today we're talking about, in particular, the importance of nurturing our pets. When we come back, we'll find out the creative ways in which Malaysians can be a little bit more responsible with their pets on The Bigger Picture, BFM 89.9.
You're listening to BFM 89.9. The business station.
Good afternoon. This is The Bigger Picture, and I'm Mira Sivasodi. I am speaking to Raymond Wee of Noah's Ark Natural Animal Sanctuary on abandoned pets and stray animals and the works. If you have any questions, you can send them through to 0162019000. Now, Raymond, what are the creative ways would you say will awaken Malaysians on responsible pet ownership?
Well, as a nation, we claim to love cats and dogs. Thousands of households have pets, and millions of ringgits are spent yearly on pet supplies, food, veterinary services, not forgetting the huge sum amounting to millions of ringgits incurred by the town councils in Malaysia to collect and kill them. But as a nation, we should take a hard, sobering look at the different annual statistics. The thousands of dogs and cats given up to shelters or left to die on the streets, and the numbers telling only half the story. Every dog, every cat who dies as a result of pet overpopulation, whether humanely, in a shelter, or by injury, disease, or neglect, is an animal, more often than not, would have made a wonderful companion if given a chance. Tremendous as the problem of pet overpopulation is, it can be solved if each one of us takes just one small step, starting with not allowing your animals to breed. Sterilization's the solution to control our homeless animals. That's the way to it. We can't stop the killing. We have to put the killing in the right perspective. The first killing will be killing the populations through sterilization. That's very important. The second killing is to kill the bad attitudes of human beings, through educations, through prosecutions, or through executions.
That harsh, huh?
And the third killing is to kill the excess. This will be the right way to do to help the animals. We are talking about the street dogs and street cats. We're not talking about the pedigree dogs, right? If I were to make an announcement here and tell you that there is a bunch of lovely Shih Tzu puppies that are brought over from Johor, and they are at this BU8 building, I think it will cause a stampede.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
Of course. Yeah.
So we don't have to worry so much about the pedigrees. Right? It is the street dogs and street cats. That's my concern, my main concern. And out of 30,000 of these animals that are being killed yearly in Malaysia, can you believe that 90% of them are street dogs?
90%.
90% are street dogs.
Okay. Based on more developed countries and their methods of controlling strays, who should we emulate? Which country?
Well, now I have America, they have their problems. In Australia, they have their problems. In Singapore, they have their own problems. Malaysia is unique. We have our own culture. So we have to look at it. An animal has no religion, so to speak. So the best thing, after traveling around Malaysia for the last 10 years, right, without community support and the helping hands of the relevant authorities and town councils, and most stringent legislations on dog licensing, nothing can be accomplished.
Okay. What do you feel is lacking? Of course, besides attitude, what else do you feel Malaysian pet owners should be aware of?
The only thing that is lacking is the cost factor. Most of these stray dogs and stray cats, or street dogs and street cats, are coming from the rural areas, like probably the farmlands or the industrial lands. So if we can bring it down, the rates of sterilization down, just for the street dogs and street cats, and getting your vets involved. So we have the time today, speak to the vet about it. We have this program which we call Vet in Partnership. Vet in Partnership will reduce their sterilizing costs into what I call a low-cost sterilization thing. It will be, say, about 50% of the regular cost. And this will be for the people who can afford to send them to the vets for sterilization. But we have projects like, for example, if there are a bunch of cats around Putu stations and we need to sterilize them, yes, we get the caregivers to round them up, then we will do it under the project. If anything is under the project, then it's free of charge. We just need the contributions and the helping hand from the caregivers, whoever you are, to help us to round up the cats. And once the cats are being sterilized, they will have a permanent marking. That means their left here will be notched. And then in Johor, you can see that a lot of cats are being done. If you ask little kids, especially, those around Pasar Malam area or probably the bus station, they will tell their mommy and daddy that these cats are sterilized and they are vaccinated, they are clean. And so the authorities will leave them alone.
Have you got plans to go throughout Malaysia? You seem to be very
Yes, we have. I have moved all... I have been traveling quite a fair bit. Now we have started a project in Pulau Besar, which is off Mersing, which is one of the islands. We went up there. That was last year, to sterilize about 60 cats, mainly from the resort areas. Yeah, and then in KKB we have sterilized quite a lot of street cats. That is with the help of Dr. Ravi. We have sterilized about almost 60 street cats and almost about 30 street dogs over there.
And how was this funded?
It's all funded from this money we are getting from our well wishes.
Okay. So how can we support you?
Well, the support comes in many ways. You can extend your kindness, firstly, starting with yourself, right? You have to single out an area where you can start helping the animals, right? Like say we have an area that has got cats or dogs and all that, be it right now. You work with your community, and from there, I'm sure money will come in. Okay,
all right. Do you need people to set up the facility for you in other parts of Malaysia?
We have Novasak ABC clinic in Ipoh, which is being set up by Dr. Ranjit Kaur, right? There's no sanctuary involved, there's no shelter involved, it's only sterilizations to make sterilizations affordable for the lower income group. Okay. And they are quite happy with it, and it is being very well received by the general public. Okay. And I wish that all the vets over here, I always tell myself that you are my God, short of worshipping you, that's all. And of course, you make money from the animal community. I wish and I hope that you'll be able to return some. This is called the win-win situations. Right? We need your help.
Is there a website that we can go to?
Currently, I don't have the local website. The Malaysian website is not up yet. We have a blog that is up.
What is it called?
Well, for you to go into that blog, it's a little bit complicating right now. You have to go into Novasak Natural Animal Sanctuary, open bracket, Malaysia, close bracket. We'll try to make it simple for you.
Okay, do a search on Google and you